back in the gallery again, this time with special guest, man like Nicholas Maxwell. Why that looking like Victola though?
Yeah, my ends tend to do that.
All right. So welcome to the gallery, sir. What is the real scene?
Boy, the real scene is work, trying to make it out here, and using this opportunity to reconnect with some awesome artists who I've always admired from long time and thing.
Right. The mama guy is strong on a Monday, but we taking it.
Yeah, but I have a bag of Mama Guy here. So
Nice.
I have a bag. Because I must say, growing up, you guys have inspired me, honestly. Yourself, Hackett, Remy, you guys I know as putting out the Vox Pops and stuff like that.
Right. Well, yeah, Remy's our boss from a long time.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could get him on where I could reach out and see.
Yeah, that'd be. I think diving back into those like Vox Pops days. I think Chiwa was a part of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, Chiwa was. Rest in peace, Chiwa.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he was a big. Sorry, bad. They were a big inspiration. Like their style, very unique. Never saw anything like that. I was like, fucking hell, I want to do this shit.
I have a piece that's been on my mind for I don't know what 20 years now. And it's based on one of the works of Chiwa.
Okay.
It's I think he did something like a carnival crowd or something like that.
Yeah. Chiwa was known for that kind of
and
thing.
I always imagine doing some sort of motion graphic piece with that, seeing as that's kind of my strong point. So my strong point is motion graphics.
All right. Well then, so let we get into the macro portion of the thing. So education wise, where did the secondary variety, as I said in the last one?
I am stupid, sir. So
join the club, sir.
But no, school wise, I did go to Fatima.
Right.
And I was always interested in art in general, like from since I was a youth. My aunts, aunt, uncle, they were at the point in time where they were in school and doing art. And I think my uncle, he wasn't in school, but he did water paintings. He did a few water paintings, and there were a few books lying around. So I was
water paintings, as in watercolor paintings.
Yeah.
Right.
And just by being a sponge, I suppose, I was learning and absorbing color theory and appreciation for art. Like there was a few big paintings in the household kind of thing.
That he did or that he collected?
No, that were just on display that they bought. I think there was like a huge painting of like a sea, and I got interested in like one of the famous Russian painters who actually did some amazing seascapes and so on. So I find a lot of my earlier stuff may have been around nature and things, and then anime took over. So that was it.
So you did art in school at any point?
Right. So what happened is everybody was like, "Yo, go and do businesses and stuff like that," and I was in accounts and principles of business for like 2 weeks and bored out of my skull.
Right.
And the teacher literally was like, "If at this point you don't understand accounting, best you do something else." And I was like, "Yeah, that is my cue."
Exit stage left.
And that was it. I walked straight into the art department. And I was like, "Yeah, I get to start this thing here because accounts are making no sense for me right now."
What form that was?
That would have been, I think, 2 or 3 when you started choosing subjects.
3, I think.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Or 4.
And I find for the most part, it was a lot of self-study. A lot of the people that came into the class already had artistic talent.
Right.
One of which I remember well, he was pretty much at the top of the class.
When was this? We sell out your age there. What
Right, you're trying to ask me to remember dates here.
No, just a year.
I think
In the 2000s, in the 19...
yeah. It would have been some kind of 95 or some madness like that.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I didn't think it had 2000 and anything. The only 2000 it had at the time was I think Intel had some kind of
Right.
2,000 chip or 5,000 chip or something, and it was like 900 megabytes going up to the 1 gig, and I was like, wow, you think we'll ever see a 1 gig chip in the future, boy? And in the meantime, that figure has surpassed by thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands of times, you know. But yeah, that's me.
So you did art at O levels.
Yeah, I did art at O levels. I was very proud with all my pieces, and immediately after I submitted them and they came back to the school, they were promptly stolen.
Sounds about right. What did you get?
I feel like I got a 1 or 2 in art or something like that. Probably one of my strongest subjects.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Outside of that, it would have been English. I have a respect and love for literature, you know.
Interesting. Okay. And after secondary school.
A lot of this stuff I did in terms of art, like.
So you're supposed to be drawing, huh? Just saying.
Yeah. Now I admire in the process. Ain't no way I could do this. I tell you, I will sit down and take hours. Well, maybe not hours, but to really get this done in a way that makes sense. So
we don't need to make sense here. It's a
command of the body and the forms and stuff like that. So
it's a non-judgment zone. So you don't need to make sense. You just like
yeah, that's one thing. So after school, I figure I would have then really started focusing on graphic design. So a lot of my work tends to be very impact frames type of situation.
Okay.
It always tends to be graphic if that makes sense.
You did. Well, I know for me, which would have been a million years ago, I had to choose. Well, no, in O levels it was fine art and graphic design. So you had two exams, 3 hours each. It was in A levels where you had to pick a specialty. So along with in O levels you had to submit your portfolio and that kind of thing. So what was your favorite medium? Like what did you like to spend most of your time and energy doing as far as the art is concerned?
Well, at the point in time, especially when I was in school, it would have definitely been pencil and paper, and I couldn't get my hands on enough printer paper sheets.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I had a lot of those stashed away. And after that, well, in school it was like charcoals. I love charcoals. I just so happened to have a burn tree stump nearby, so I had unlimited
charcoal.
So you know, giving thanks for that old mango tree. You know,
right.
I had mango flavored.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah. And I figured out that the brown paper I used to cover my books with, they came in these huge
rolls.
So I would like unfold this huge sheet and just charcoal down the place. And that was actually one of the pieces that got stolen. I did a huge poster of Spider-Man.
Now we'll hear where you went and drew.
Yeah. And promptly disappear.
Yeah. Not surprised there at all.
So I love charcoal. Pastels, I really like pastels. I like the color tones that they offer, and I find that a lot of my work these days tends to mimic in a way
Personal techniques.
pastel colors and so on. Yeah. So and then from there I kind of started. What did I start off doing? I think after I kind of left my mom's and them, I got encouraged to go and apply to a printery.
So this would have been, so you did, or you didn't do A's?
Nah, I didn't do any A's. Basically the powers that be was like, yeah, you're on your own, sort it out.
Right.
So from there, and I went in with my portfolio of drawings, and I had a big want to be into comic book art at the point in time. Myself and Christopher Chow, and if you know Chris Chow, I think, I'm not too sure if he associated with Chow Smokehouse, but
Chow
Chris
does not bring up.
Yeah, real fantastic artist coming out of Fatima. This is in the days of seeing Midnight Rubber.
Chris Riley.
Artist. There you go, Chris Riley, and boy was I over the edge when I saw Midnight Rubber, and today is probably still one of the best Trini comics.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
And I think at the point in time, man, I was big into Spawn.
Right.
Boy, did I love Spawn, the series, the artists, everything about Spawn. And I think back then I was into a guy called Michael Turner, guy who did Fathom Comics. And a fair amount of my drawing style, I would say, is folks like that, Mike Turner, Todd McFarlane,
right?
This
the Image Comics kind of finish.
Comics,
yeah.
And there's this guy whose name will come to me soon, but very big inspiration. One of the old greats who was sketching like I think called the Conan comics and stuff like that.
Not Joe Kubert.
There's Kubert, and there's another guy, again, can't remember his name right now. Shameful, I know.
So it is cool.
Yeah. So basically from there I got into with my love of comics and burgeoning love for animation at the point in time, because I think back then Kenshin would have been big.
Right.
My favorite, or one of my favorites, being like Galaxy Rangers. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a Galaxy Rangers up there, bro. You can't tell me
still
Galaxy.
Galaxy Rangers still holds up today.
I watch out the entire series of Galaxy Rangers, no sort of my back. So yeah, as you can see, I'm good at doing graphic type design, not so much body shapes and all that kind of thing.
Right.
So if you ask me to do up like a sketchy guy, problem.
Good thing I asked you.
I mean, you could. It's a small thing, but so.
How long were you at the printery? Did you get the job at the printery?
Yeah, I did, and the like everything in life is a funny story, right? I walked in one day, and the owner, he was like, all right, I see your stuff, fresh out of school, and I imagine at that point in time, a printery and a graphic designer, I don't know how much faith they would have put into drawing skills versus like technical design skills, and of course at that point in time Photoshop skills. So I think
this would have been early 2000s.
Yeah, bro. I started off on Photoshop 2.
Same.
Yeah, there you go. Good old Photoshop 2. And what happened there is I guess the what you call him, the boss at the time was he was like, yeah, you're looking good there. nice, bless. And I think at that point in time, he was like, yeah, we could call you, man. You know the old,
Right.
we could call you.
Don't call us. We'll call
Yeah,
you.
exactly. So that was that. And what happened is, I think either one, it's a bit fuzzy, so long, but I think it was either one day or if not the same day, probably either on my second interview or right then and then, all I hear from the background was, yeah. You see this? A good day, man. And you see a guy fly outside and the man watched me and he was like, right,
That
new
spot has
position
opened up.
just opened up. Bro.
Wow.
I tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
was
amazing.
Like that. It was like that. And so I started off at the base level. Like as much as I could draw and stuff like that to kind of save my life. I started off at the base level designing pages, like literal pages, like lines on a copybook page.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah. So I had to learn and this was like the basics of learning Photoshop.
So you was doing all of that in Photoshop?
Between Photoshop, Illustrator, and what would eventually become InDesign.
Page maker.
Yeah.
Boy,
as much as I use layers, I got this advice from a guy who is into background painting.
Mm-hmm.
And
I hear this.
He was like, after a while, he was like, I was trying my best to keep things on one layer, and he says an interesting art process. And I think a lot of my or some of my earlier works would have been along the lines of concept painting, because I there thinking, how do I apply my art skills to something commercial in life now?
Right.
And I thought concept art would have been a avenue for me, and I kind of still do concept art in a way. But I would have done a fair amount of inspiration from those guys.
These would be who?
So I can't remember the last people, but let's see. There's one guy, concept art. It'll come to me just now. But he's a guy who works out of, I think, Thailand, and he's probably one of the top concept artists in the world, and he has a school and everything.
Okay.
And if I'll try and put it in the link once I find it. He's somebody I usually recommend to artists who may be trying to get into concept art or just art in general, especially when it comes to Photoshop and painting and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. So a position miraculously opened up while you were there, and you started off literally putting lines on pages to create copybooks. How long was your line period for? Your blue line period?
Not too long, because what would happen eventually is, and I guess they were smart about how they progress. So, start off on lines, learn the software, and then it turned into doing death announcements and bereavement type of things.
This is a printry.
Yeah, there's a printry. And
interesting.
I guess they would print out the programs for funerals.
Oh, okay.
And so somebody would come in with some copy, daily bereaved, etc. And I'd have to design something for that.
Right.
But, basically putting down words on a page, make it look nice, grab some stock
doves.
Text. Yeah, stock up. What do you call this thing? Like them little frilly things that'll go on the borders.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So that more or less started off my career as a designer, graphic artist.
And how long were you there for?
Probably about a year or two, something like that.
Okay.
I think at some point, basically there was paying real chump change back then. Very grateful for the experience, but serious chump change. And I moved on to a place called Motor City in Shogunus, who is still alive and running today.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess from there, I kind of got into a little more creativity because, bro, I was doing so much like car stickers back then. I still see a couple car stickers
That you've
today.
done.
Yeah, I was like, hey, look, I do that.
Nice.
Yeah. And from there, it kind of took a turn into freelance work.
How long were you at Motor City for?
Probably about the same time, about a year.
A year or
and
two.
change.
Okay.
Yeah. I was out of the actual working and design field for some time, where for various reasons I became a gym instructor for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You wouldn't think so based on my chuffiness at the moment. But yeah, I was into a whole bunch of stuff back then, running kung fu and riding.
Kung Fu with who? Where?
A guy called, I can't remember his first name, is Ram Samuch, and this was down in San Fernando.
Ram Samuch. Okay.
Yeah,
So how
yeah.
come I never bounced you up in tournaments though?
I only went to like one, and I probably went to help.
Because it sounded like we would have been training in Kung Fu around the same time.
Quite possibly.
Huh.
So I's a Kung Fu man at the heart.
Right. We have quite a lot in common then. That's very interesting.
Yeah. And I figure a fair amount of artists might as well. So, the goal is always to, get strong and be John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
So, minus the guns. As much as I just wake up every day and be like, Lord, some of these people need it. I'm a pacifist.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. So, so I think like during my kind of young time in becoming an artist, I got a job in a computer stationery store, and due to the fact that I had to be behind the computer 24/7, it was basically 24/7 training in like Photoshop and figuring out the tool, Illustrator and stuff like that.
This is where there would be downtime at the shop, you just teaching yourself things.
Yeah. Because I guess computers wasn't so big and widespread back then. Like, it literally was an internet cafe as well.
Right.
And I was like, a perfect opportunity to be in front of the computer with tutorials and all this kind of thing. And I think from there, I then got a printer work more on the creative side with another printer. And this was in Arima.
Okay.
Who's these people again? Some printers on O'Meara Road in Arima. And I got to be, nice and creative there. This was one of my first introductions to like new Mac. They had those Tower Macs, the predecessor of the round greater like things right now.
Right, yeah. This would have been around what time?
I guess coming up on the 99s, 2000-ish kind of thing.
Okay.
I really would have to sit down and check them dates. I was like throwing random guesses at the board. So I learned a good bit about printry there, and while I was there, we had someone come into work who used to work at a TV station, and I think between there, I went on to an ad agency, and I worked with about 2 ad agencies from there, and then I worked at Gaia for about 4 or 5 years. So Gaia was an awesome place. Lots of young people, lots of young talent, folks I used to work with from there, I still know and care about.
Right.
It was a great space. So big up to Fabian, Christopher Laird for doing that for as long as they could.
Yeah.
I really think with the current atmosphere of social media and stuff like that, being a kind of an independent young station with creatives would, ideally be a good recipe for success right about now. But, they're still around doing their thing, not as big as before, but let's give them real props.
And I think that Barbados bought the archives.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, this is amazing work, bro. Like I say, you might think you're here to, have a chat and interview me, but I just appreciate this right now. So like, yourself and James would have had the opportunity to work with James at some point in time.
Yeah.
So
I miss. Well, this would be jumping forward a bit, but in the interview I did with Macasey, he talked about a project you had roped him in on for KFC, and he said it was basically the bomb squad with people from Reader's Draw. So it was you, it was him, it was Macasey. So
Rennie was
right. I thought it was the project where James had done the character designs and the and some of like the special effects background shape stuff, which was a different one. Right. So I thought it was the same thing, but then when I went back and checked, I realized it was two different. It's just that KFC was the underlying client, but it was two different pieces of animation. So that was my bad. So I'm clearing that up officially in the gallery here now.
Yeah. So that was a project done for KFC via an agency called CMB.
Right.
Advertising. Nice folks.
That's the one with that's the one with Macasey and Omari and them.
Yes. So the first one,
is the Spirit of Carnival or something like that.
But for the most part, Macasey was in charge of designing the masqueraders, and he did some illustrations for jabs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And his work in that particular piece really drove the design of that spot. So it was a super awesome spot to work on with, as you say, the bomb team now.
Yeah, right. But going back, so before we reach CMB, it was in the internet cafe / printery / all kind of thing, and it was teaching yourself more of the Photoshops and the illustrators is. This could not be 99. This would have had to be into the 2000s, man.
Quite possibly. I'll leave the dates up to you and the viewers. I like to be a little mysterious.
Wow, what a couple. All right, the boss. All right, the boss.
All you internet sleuths.
Right.
Figure it out.
Right.
I don't remember dates, bro. Like,
hey, I fully understand.
Like I remember this one pillow I had, but I can't tell you.
Other than that, everything is a little murky. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the gap between there and KFC would have been like Gael, and then with a production house doing a fair amount of visual effects works.
Who's this?
This was a production house called SJP Productions.
Okay.
And I probably work with Michael on this.
Which Michael?
Michael Richard.
Okay.
Yeah, he helped me out with like some roto work at the point in time where
Michael is the next one I need to
stuff like that. I had to like roto out a whole football team to put in a stadium and refill the stands with people and stuff like that.
Right.
So at this point, I would have had my artistic background to really inform what I was doing, and back at Gaia I got a really good appreciation for cinematography.
So you were doing camera work what was your responsibilities in Gael?
More or less the same thing in terms of motion graphics design, but editing kind of thing, but
Wait.
more motion graphics than anything else.
Where did we get the motion graphics skill from?
So one of the agencies I worked for, at some point in time, they were like, yo, we need a spot done, like paint pouring or something. So, and I was like, I just kind of curious about After Effects. I figure I could do something like this. And man, I picked up After Effects and I was like, yeah, there's no going back.
Okay, just now. So you had experience with After Effects already, or when they say they wanted something done in After Effects, you just decide I'm going to teach myself this and do it?
Yeah, a lot of my stuff is very self-taught. A lot of my stuff is self-taught and going through the process and making mistakes and figuring out the things. So like one of my interests growing up was definitely gaming and JRPGs.
You're saying that like it changed, but okay.
Yeah, like it changed, right? So it was like JRPGs and again, there's a whole other side of appreciation in terms of the production and what they did at the time with what they have.
Yeah.
Where you have like blocky, pointy boobs, Tomb Raider and stuff like that.
Right.
The story was working, right? So by the time between the agency time and getting into Gael, I would have made up a bit of a portfolio at that point, and they were like, "Yeah, we like your work. It's clean stuff."
This is personal work as well as stuff you do in office, or this is all personal work?
Like it would have been stuff I did from the other offices, like that paint thing I mentioned, and one or two little personal works from then.
So, did you have any kind of traditional training in After Effects? Like even if it's with somebody in the office or something like that?
No. Everything fully self-taught.
Wow.
Self-taught with After Effects. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I figure at that point I drew a lot on my gaming experience and anime watching experience, where
in terms of what?
Things tended to be almost graphic design oriented, and it was a lot of like I had to like access that part of my brain to be like, I've been watching top quality cinematography and animation for some time.
I've prepared my entire life for this.
Exactly. Exactly. And that has only gotten stronger, whereby I could watch TV shows and films and stuff like that, and kind of pick apart and that love for it. So I figure Gaia would have been a fair amount of seasoning, and the other production agency would have been even more seasoning. And,
right.
I did work with one other production house after that, Judy Chung Dennison.
Okay.
And so that was again editing, motion graphics.
How did you get that opportunity?
Boy, the last fella I was working with, he was like,
he fed up on you, boss out?
Well, I ain't trying to pay right now, and I was like, oh, you ain't paying later.
Right.
Boy, some bacchanal and all kind of thing, and I was like, nah, I go to the bacchanal. Let me try and protect my peace as much as possible.
Right, very important.
Yeah. So, and after JCD, it was pretty much all freelance from there, and that's when I had a good bit of VFX work under my belt at that point. So a lot of the stuff like the KFCs and things like that, it was all animation and visual effects based.
Right.
Type of work. So I guess it's always fun, always challenging. You're doing something that you might have never see before, and bringing that creative spark from again all the years of anime watching, and again the inspirations of those who have come before.
Yeah.
As much as you may not have been in the credits of stuff like that, you deserve to be.
Thank you, sir. So, big shiny pixel.
Yes, sir.
What is Big Shiny Pixel for the two people in the back that may not have heard of it before?
It's just interesting how many people have not heard of it. It's one of those things, if you don't keep putting yourself out there.
People just say, you know.
Yeah. So you kind of had to keep in the view and putting out your stuff ever so often. I haven't been so great at that, but I'm thankful for the opportunities that came my way.
Right.
Due to it. But Big Shiny Pixel came about when, constantly doing motion graphics and in there had a lot of logos to do. And a lot of the feedback you would get is make it bigger and make it shinier, right?
Usual thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right. Like at first I was gonna name the company Maximus Returns. And like for some reason I stayed at that for a couple months, and I was like, I knew if it have a ring to it per se, but I think at that point in time I was like how to call it, boy, basically just getting into the whole streamer things, But I guess there were a couple agencies around, like international agencies like Buck or ILM, Industrial Light and Magic.
Right.
And I kind of like the simplicity yet interest of their names. So I was like, Big Shiny Pixel. And I think at that point it had like about 5 people with Pixel on the name, and then after that every man Jack had Pixel on the name.
Like I distinctly remember a Pixel graphics.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a few Pixel related names out there. So yeah, Big Shiny Pixel came about. I forgot to mention mans like Adrian Nurse, who is a VFX artist out there, and he started me up. Well, not really started me up with what was it? White Oak, yeah, White Oak. We had a spot to do, and the spot had a good bit of VFX work on it, and I at that point in time, Adrian gave me some nice advice.
Okay.
He was like, yo, you should really try to make a lot of these things partnership based, so you could do like bigger stuff.
How do I understand?
As in, I was trying to make a name for myself out there at the point in time. So Adrian was saying, one of the ways to do that is to like collaborate with people and artists in the Trinidadian community.
Okay.
And I was like, that make real sense. I'd love to do that. And I was like, if I have anything upcoming, I'll definitely, hail you and call you and see what's the scene. And I think when I had my first, I would say, big project, I would have called in Adrian on it. And we had another, I think all my projects like that are usually some seriously heavy hitters.
In terms of the client?
Well, yes, the client, but more so the artists that were involved. Because at the time, it was Adrian, and Adrian at that point in time had already done work on Narnia, big Hollywood movie and thing.
Really?
Yeah. He was on Narnia and a couple other movies, and he has been on
doing VFX for that movie.
Yep.
Wow.
And the other guy who was on that was Thaddeus Mirage, and he did the I wasn't very much into 3D at the point in time, but he did the plane. So there was a plane model that needed to be done and textured and stuff like that. And as you can see, my goalkeeping rap there, that's the extent of my sketching skills. But so Thaddeus Mirage, he did the texturing for the playing and stuff like that. And at that point in time, I was getting into understanding the rendering part of it. Because I was into After Effects, it kind of naturally put me in a position of being the final cut person or the editor, or just receiving elements and 3D elements
and putting everything together.
Yeah, basically. So I kind of got put into the position of that finalizing type guy, which, you know, had me eventually started calling myself a creative director, because I'd be creatively directing everything to pull it together, you know. And
so you was the Samuel L. Jackson of Avenger.
Kinda, you know. Nice way to put it. I guess I have the Nick from the Nick Fury, right?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Hey. So Thaddeus, I was saying Thaddeus is a person who helped out with what's the name of this slow motion type shooting game. I think it had Max in the title. What was it?
Max Payne?
Yeah, Max Payne. There you go. So he, being from Trinidad, eventually got into doing 3D, helping out.
Well, shit. Okay.
Yeah, and if you watch like the credits, you will see Thaddeus Mirage, just like how for the Avengers game and some other things, you'll see Sean Sky.
Wow.
Yeah, like Sean Sky, I remember he was like the second name that came up in the Marvel Avengers game, and I was like, wow, blah 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 blah.
Wow.
So amazing. Thaddeus was giving me a story how he was up there, and you know, some of the producers was like, yo, you're too good, you're too fast, you're making everybody else look bad, so you need to slow down. So yeah, some of the projects I had inside there have amazing talent, and coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. Even Sekani Solomon, he did some work on the opening titles to Black Panther, and he would have,
in my mind right now.
Yeah, he would have contributed to a few of the things I did in the past, like simple commercials. He started off young. He wanted somebody to kind of work under the point of time, and you know, we link up due to that, and it was, like I say, it's so, you know, ball cry proudness when, you know, somebody who work with you doing some of these things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even like for instance, Macasey, you know, all praises to Macasey and his awesome work. Ninja Slippers remains a strong part of my heart to this day.
Were you one of them that bought the pirate DVD on Independence Square?
No. I think at that point in time I would have been involved with Anime Caribe, so I more than likely would have seen it at some sort of exhibition.
The student show.
Yeah, the student shorts and so on. And I think from Project Ninja Slippers, me and Macasey would link up, and I was like, bro, anytime I get opportunity to have you do some work with me, yeah, I will. I surely will.
Hell yeah.
And I was never disappointed.
Yeah, he deserves it. He and Omar and them, they're just full of talent, and I can't stand them.
Yeah, I think Omari is trying to do some comic project right now, and of course I'm excited about that, because just like you, he has a lot of character in his work that captures Trinidad faces. Boy, oh boy.
I done tell you already, you can't be putting me in them men category.
No, you're up there. As much as you might not want to say it, you're up there. And I could only wish that, you know, we had a much better artistic economy to have you even more up there. You know, I would not be in this interview. You would have been too busy making your millions, you know.
Nah,
You know?
I live in a corner house. I grew up in a corner house, so I would have always wanted a Mako regardless.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So, you know,
so big shiny pixel. So what was the catalyst for you jumping out and creating your own company as opposed to just, being a regular smegular freelancer?
Well, in a way, I was still always a freelancer because I never really got into the whole brick and mortar, like that. Because I didn't think at the time it was so supported to do something like that. But then again, I was just trying to make things look good. I have a big business sense and stuff, but I basically at the point in time I was like the actual move to freelancer. As I said, one of the people who I really really love working for them, but for whatever reason there was like, yeah, we'd already like given out money.
Yeah.
And I was really happy with it. I would have stayed there, but so due to that, and I think the other people I was working with, cool folks, but the subject matter was very very corporate. Not that I mind corporate, like I do a lot of corporate stuff or corporate creative stuff, but it was a little too corporate for me, and I was like, it have too much creative jobs out there that I really really want to get into and maybe even position myself on an international level to be like, yo, if somebody needs to do this, I could provide it, or at least be like, I have the team.
You could facilitate it, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say too corporate, you felt like it was stifling your creativity. It was too stagnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was how to say but basically, as you said, I wanted to do a lot more creative work inside there, and very, very good people, but there would be some things, I guess in general with corporate, where you kind of had to be like, yeah, the boss, sure, you'll get that right away.
Yeah. You had to grin and bear it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, while I had the opportunity to do some creative stuff, the draw towards doing freelance and maybe agency work and people thinking of me or Big Shiny Pixels like, yo, we want something animated and creative, call that, man.
Because that is a brave move, right? Because plenty people might argue that corporate stuff is the safe way to go. It's not glamorous, and in most cases might not be the most fun thing to do, but it is safe. So for you to say, well, I want more for myself, is not a decision I think everybody would make now. So props to you for that.
Yeah, I just watch back myself and be like, man, props to that guy. Yeah, it really, really was a strong desire to start doing some of the things I've been seeing on TV. Whether it be commercials or VFX, and I realized that a lot of the regular-ish people down here, they weren't really doing that much.
Right.
And I felt like it had a space there for me, So yeah, props to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And of course, props to everyone else who was a part of the process, because like everything in life, you can't really do everything alone.
Yeah.
And I always told myself I wanted to be the type of person who, if you help out on a project, I'm gonna release my projects with credits.
Yeah.
And it's something I've stuck to, and I'm always very happy to pull up a day and be like, hey, my KC boy, remember that KC thing, man? That was so good. or Rennie or something like that. And they can actually, maybe take it to somebody else and be like, yo, my name is in the credits.
Yeah, that definitely portfolio pieces for sure.
Yeah. As opposed to, you could take it to somebody and just be like, yeah, I did this. Nah.
There's no proof.
If you do something for me and, it's that kind of project, when I, make my release and put it online, it comes with with credit.
Right, and that's one of the things that I had to come to terms with, but also it's something that I let my students know. Being in this field is a thankless job, because unlike well, in some cases, right, but unlike fine art where you could put your signature on every piece of work you do, plenty times once you're doing work for a client or work for somebody else, there's no guarantee that they had to credit you for what you did for them.
Yeah, and you're right. There are some clients out there who have done work for before that they basically state upfront, you cannot show this as part of your work.
Your portfolio, yeah.
Yeah, they just like one time.
Yeah, which is supremely shitty, but at the same time, if they're paying client, it's up to you to agree to it or not.
Yeah, and what I usually do is I would probably have like a closed room reel, as in, I pull up my laptop and be like, yeah, this is what I do before, but I can't.
You wouldn't online. Right, you wouldn't advertise it for any and everybody.
Correct.
Yeah. So Big Shiny Pixel has been around for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge accomplishment, sir. Congrats on that. That is amazing.
Well, thank you. I mean, for the most part, once I alive it around.
Fair. Fair.
Unlike, say, a brick and mortar, if they close down, I know what's gonna happen with them after. But because it's been mainly me, once I run it there, and I wish I had the opportunity for it to keep on going and keep on doing more some things, but now we're moving into a kind of strange age of a lot of in-house, a lot of the AI thing, and stuff like that. So it's I guess a challenge.
How has that affected you so far?
I'd say quite a bit, because I was dormant for some time in a way. And that's due to like at some point course, and then I think the whole COVID thing hit everybody.
Right.
Like I had a few projects before COVID that get mashed up and all this kind of thing. And then it came to a lot of in-house stuff, and prices just like drastically drop. And because prices drop, now in terms of 3D versus AI, in some cases, clients would be like, nah, I trying to pay the cheapest. So we had a kind of race to the bottom situation, So I'd say in this case, it's me getting back up on my feet and seeing what's out there in terms of more of the stuff I do is for social media as opposed to TV now.
Right. Has that affected your workflow in terms of like your process?
Yeah, definitely. Because I can't afford to now put in the amount of work I'd like to in some things. So, and of course, it's me reasoning with myself over, things like how much work should I put into this, what price they ask for, or let them know, or educate the client as to, sorry, but the budget wouldn't cover X, Y, Z. So you might get jumping stick figures as opposed to 3D stuff.
Right, based on what you want to pay.
Yeah.
Or the client.
This day and age, I'm starting to get a few budgets and timelines where it's kind of like, I think the only thing could work here is the AI thing. Now, I try my best to incorporate my creativity in everything that I do. So it's usually not just a type in AI thing and be like, here, look that client. Because I don't think that, for me, that doesn't work. It might work for some people, but for me it doesn't work. I still have the process of design or storyboard or having the know-how how to put together an emotional edit.
Right.
That kind of thing.
So you have used AI to produce client work? before based on their budget
Yeah,
and what they're asking for?
yeah, for
Okay.
sure, for sure. I have, and I use it as either a time saver or a cost saver in my productions.
Okay.
I definitely advocate as much as possible for real human work to go inside it, and of course, a part of that being I am a real human.
Right. Yes.
So I suppose what myself and other people who've been involved in a similar capacity offer to, just a regular AI dude is having that experience to put things together. Because
Right.
while it's good, it's not perfect, and I believe it still needs an educated touch to get what you want out of it. Now, that being said, there was something I thought of the other day where you kind of need to have an open mind. Like the other day, I was trying to figure out something with the AI, and generally speaking, this particular thing would require fluid simulations. And one way to kind of get around that is either using stock footage or using the AI to generate fluid sims or something like that. And there's only so far it can go.
Can you
So far
imagine?
it can go. Unless you just have a bunch of money trying to spit out more and more and more until you get something, and even then it's not art directable.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, and I think after about 3 or 4 attempts, I was like, this isn't making sense. This is looking like real tutu.
Right.
Yeah, so, and eventually the solution was find some stock footage of actual water and pull together a composite of those things, Oh wow, did you just put in a unifying stripe? How cool. The first guy wanna look like Kratos there.
A little bit.
Yeah,
Now,
Kratos
this
back
this
there.
part of the coloring process. I'm trying to figure out a unifying color that I could use for shading.
Very nice. That's excellent. That is excellent.
just the
So have you
test.
have you started on a new layer for that?
I am on layer 4 right now.
Okay.
But yes, this is all on a new layer.
Right. Yeah, so boy, for the most part the struggle continues. I'm always hoping to get more of stuff I've done like in the past where I could have a large team
Yeah.
working on things. But that's one of those, kind of had to go out and get it or wait until it show up.
Right.
Kind of situation. So I keep myself occupied so far. I recently did start a 9 to 5.
Really?
I've stopped that. Well, yeah, probably about coming up to a year ago, maybe. So I'm back in my freelancer role, so to speak.
What was your 9 to 5?
Same thing, motion graphics. I want to mention the people, but same thing, motion graphics. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. And so now I'm kind of back into letting everybody know, hey, if you're looking for the thing,
I'm back.
Yeah. Maximus has returned.
Nice.
But other than that, it's fantastic to have a community of such talented people. We can't be corporate and results over humanity type of situation, because we can eventually reach to where the top world leaders reach, where it's everybody threatening each other with a bomb. So I do try to be as human as I can,
Right.
and treat everybody with as much respect as possible, because I myself would have gone through the little stupidness in the past with employers or payments and stuff like that, or creativity and stuff. So I do like the people that I work with on the various projects, and I am appreciative of the clients who put their trust in me and got their work out and stuff like that.
Now, talking about the client, and you've spoken about the struggles with promoting yourself? Is it that you got clients through word of mouth?
Yes and no. A big part of what I did when I started off was create basically a demo reel or a portfolio piece
Right.
or portfolio pieces and actually sending it out there.
When you say sending it out there, like directly to potential clients, or you're just putting it out on like Vimeo or your website and trying to direct people?
Both. I figure it would have been sending these things to agencies, reaching out to clients and stuff like that. But a fair amount of it is word of mouth, to be quite honest.
Right. Word of mouth, real powerful though.
Very much so. Very much so.
People underestimate how powerful word of mouth can be.
Correct. And I figure that in and of itself is kind of like a basis to life, where people trying to make it and you're trying to make our money and stuff like that. But I guess it all comes down to your community,
yes,
people and I'm so appreciative of, as I say, a session like this. As much as I wouldn't have been at much of the reader's draw, it's absolutely fine. And even me getting back out on the market in a check my out kind of way.
Right.
It was a bit of, hey, past clients or people that I've worked with, just letting
when you're ready, I hear.
Yeah, I'm looking for it, and a part of that is making the effort ever so often to say that.
Yeah.
And the same LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and this kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, as I said, your stuff and your process is very cool, very efficient.
Thank you.
I had to sit down with my footballer mouse to make him look like that. But I suppose where I am at is I'm a very, in a way, process driven type of person, and to put that into context, because I do animation and motion graphics, I tend to keep things very loose and storyboardish.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I've seen the stuff where I have seen some of your sketches, the rough sketches, and then I've seen the finished product, and I was like, I understand. I understand.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of like that for me, and I guess I try as much as possible to appreciate each stage in the process. So I appreciate the sketching. I appreciate the finding shapes and forms. So like how you were able to maybe directly draw out a character's shape and form. I, on the other hand, might like, for instance, this rat we have here, I'll probably like go inside and be like, let's see if we could change up some of the what to call it, like direction and make your leg shorter and stuff like that.
Right.
Until I find something that kind of works. So I manipulate shapes a lot in Photoshop. So what you find is a fair amount of the stuff that I do personally, especially when it comes to, say, human beings. Yeah. I find I thrive with silhouettes. So I tend to thrive with silhouettes. So like if I have to do some kind of dude underneath here, start off with a small shape and I kind of do my little stick guy doodles. Right. So I'll kind of like build up shapes from there.
But and I realize that's definitely a throwback to some of the fundamentals of character design and like animation. You strive to have a strong silhouette to whatever type of character you design, because it needs to read a certain way on the screen, in motion, that kind of thing, as opposed to an illustrator. I mean, technically everybody should be following the same basics, right? A strong silhouette is a strong silhouette, which would lead to a strong design. But a static image versus something that's meant to be in motion is slightly different. And so I could fully understand your approach to illustration or coming up with designs, that kind of thing. And man, once the fucking work get done, none of us in school anymore, so it's not like you had to follow a specific set of rules or routines. It's once it working for you and it can get your work done, go through hard.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of been my process, because what I realize is you find a fair amount of the, like, because I would like go on YouTube and see who's some good artists to follow and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you find over the looking at various artists, you will actually see some of the things that you thought was scrappy. Like even what I'm doing here is an interesting way to. It comes up a lot in concept art.
Yeah.
So.
And even some work I've seen from some other artists, like I've seen some work from Kern, Salandi. Kronos, I think. Yeah. I've seen him work backwards in that he would put on the full black silhouette and then build up the highlights in white to create the finished product. I'm like, hey, that is cool.
Yeah,
correct. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that shit, but that is cool.
Yeah, and little things like that, I watch it and I'm like, wow, I like this process. It kind of works nicely with my how I've been doing things.
Right. Yeah.
And you kind of realize that, hey, a lot of the times it's building on your own process and how you do things. And so and one of the things I kind of like about this process is it allows a bit of exploration with the subject, and it's something I like. As much as I would love to be able to just sit down and sketch out what you're doing, and for the most part I kinda can.
I mean, I didn't get my portfolio stolen as it come back in school, so
listen, I think it deserves to be, alright.
And I agree.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, I never had that experience, so
But there's an interesting thing that used to happen with that sketchy process even back in school. Like I wouldn't generally start, like, let's say how you're starting, where at a certain point in time you could see what you're drawing. It'll be like a whole, I don't know, half an hour pass, and people will be like, what this man drawing?
Yeah. It's definitely a scenario where trust the process is the name of the game. Even if you're not seeing it, you're gonna see it when it's done. It will make sense when it's finished. Trust the process. You will get there.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I used to study a lot when I was doing animation, because as you say, animation tends to be a very process oriented type thing,
right?
And like for instance, editing, right? When I was doing editing, it was like I was always figuring out, well, how do people get shots to look good and come together well. And one of the things I would have studied
is self-study.
Yeah, I do a lot of self-study, and one of the things that I figured out is how cuts happen. So for instance, generally speaking, if you want a smooth flow of cuts, you go from a wide to a medium to a close, and then more than likely back out in the same order. And you maintain an interesting visual continuity due to that.
Okay.
And I mean, that's not the rule per se, like people have gotten over that, but for the most part, it's kind of similar to telling a story.
Yeah.
Whereby sometimes it might work if you jump in the action immediately, but sometimes somebody will be like, what going on here? What happened?
Right.
And just like telling a story, you usually, give the context first, and then you go into it deeper, where you start to introduce environment, characters, that kind of thing.
Right.
So just like that was me finding out about trust in the process.
Right. I find it so interesting that without a lot of traditional education in terms of like the shit you're doing now, most of it, if not all, is you being curious and seeking out the knowledge and putting it into practice, honing your craft, and getting it to a point where you have worked with all these amazing artists and will continue to in the future, just because you was fucking curious and interested in certain shit. I find that amazing.
Yeah, that comes from me being anti-establishment.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember multiple little social commentary comics that you would have posted like on Facebook and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I very much appreciate that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said about curiosity and asking questions about the world around you.
Yes.
And also doing it for yourself, because like one of the things I love in my studies is child development, and one of the reasons I study it is because curiosity is one of the natural states of a child or a human being.
Right.
And you heard of so much stories in the past where, I would have become an artist, but my mother and them tell me it's stupid, or, some kind of thing.
Right.
And that in itself is killing that curiosity, which leads to innovation and, getting better at whatever craft you're doing. And that also comes with building up, I guess, the skill of saying, hey, I understand that this is something new. I'm probably going to be shit in it for some time. Mm-hmm. And kind of pushing ahead and having little conversations with people, like something just as easy as this pressure sensitivity situation.
Right, yes.
For me, I suppose my mind will work in such a way where it's like, okay, what exactly is the reason for this doing that? Like, clearly it has pressure sensitivity. Why is it doing that?
Yeah. And you have been the first one to figure it out, because I couldn't figure it out. And a few of the guests from previous interviews couldn't figure it out.
So
and you come with your curious self, and yes.
I don't know what browser they may have been using, but it struck me that Chrome tends to lead the way. Safari is my default browser, but Chrome tends to, on iMac, and it tends to be at the forefront of tech in a way. And I was like, hey, let me just try it out, yes. And
lo and behold,
that was it.
Lo and behold,
yeah,
you have cracked the code.
And a lot of the things we've done or I've done in the past. I say we because again, collaborative effort as well. But I guess on my own personal work, a lot of it came down to let me just try it.
Right? Yeah.
And that's it. Let me just try it, because you get this impression from maybe Hollywood or bigger agencies and stuff like that, that they do all these amazing work and stuff like that. And sometimes you look at the behind the scenes and they was like, boy, we didn't know, we asked from we elbow. And
well, look at the amount of techniques that are now standard in that industry that came about because men had to find ways around limitations. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I and a lot of things we discussed in the art and thing, I apply it to life as well. And
right,
I watch people and be like, yeah, I know they might be looking like they're doing the dishes now, but for the most part, it might be just either a skill issue and getting good at it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of watch, depending on what I'm doing or who it is, and be like, what's your interest level like?
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, the skill comes after.
Yeah, once you're willing to keep at it because your interest is there, you will get better at it. Definitely.
Yeah. And of course, as you could see with the nature of my drawings, I like to keep it kicksy.
Of course. Humor is very important, especially these days. Especially these days.
Yeah, some humor, some good interaction with nice people. I make a very, very conscious effort to align with good people.
Yeah.
As much as a few amount of people don't necessarily like me for my views, but I am not one of those who believes in the amount of tutu you could take from somebody equals how good you are in social situations or stuff like that. I'm more of a, can you recognize me as another human being going through the experience?
I mean, we don't always have to agree on everything, right? But if I respect you, as I say, as a human being, I don't agree with you here, but I still respect you, so I'm not going and treat you bad or be an asshole to you. Then again, it really depends, because in some cases, depending on your beliefs, so like, you don't have a problem with pedophilia, them kind of thing, then nah, I will avoid you, because that's a different kind of thing.
Yeah, my belief is I more or less cool with you once you respect me and the people around me, and you're coming to me to specifically shut up somebody on some kind of dumbness.
Right.
But as somebody was saying, if your lack of humanity is expressed in such a way where it can get between people, like we trying to be friends, but you're trying to convince me that yes, it's okay to do a certain level of shit or the other.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, nah, I do agree with that.
Right.
With Carolina, I can't support that, because at the end of the day, if I stay there and don't say nothing, I support it.
Yeah, you're complacent, you're supporting that shit, and then you will get lumped in with them. So excuse thyself.
Yeah. So just like how I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing here.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I believe in people and community, and as small as it may be, it's definitely something that's contributing positively to the life of yourself and those around you and people you care about and the career you care about. It's so wonderful. It's contributing to positivity in this life and not any other.
Well, I mean, I hope so. Is really, I like the idea of community. I like the community that I'm currently in. Well, the communities is different ones, right? And I think specifically with what I'm trying to do here, I think our community in terms of the artists and that kind of thing, and the creatives, I think it was stronger back in the day. Is not what it used to be. So this just my attempt, not necessarily to bring the community back together in that sense, but just to remind people, hey, this person here, and this is what they're doing. You know? So if the information out there, then people can reach out, hey, I see you doing this, or I hear you doing this, how that going? I had this project, what do you think about this, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? So to build back the network and hopefully open up communications between creatives like it used to be long time, as I guess as the resident old men back in we day. You know what I mean? And then, you know, there are younger creatives in the game now, or coming up in the game now, that may not know. So like they would see work out there, right? But they might not necessarily know who doing the work, or even realize, hey, that's a local person doing that is not as far away as you think. So just like how, well, you and quite a few other people, Renee, Mari, quite a few people, surprising to me, right, have said to me, because of the stuff that me and James would have done in the Vox, only resonate with that, and that kind of inspire in some kind of way to do this stuff that I'll either do it now or help all you figure out what the fuck I want to be when I grow up, kind of shit. That's always blow my mind. Like I can't wrap my head around that, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure all you either doing that or can do that for the people that coming up behind us, you know. But
I agree.
Because there wasn't a lot of static and background noise, for lack of a better term. It was easier to identify people like me and James in the Vox, right? But now, you know, the internet is everywhere, so different social media platforms, and everybody on it. There's a lot of static and noise, and it's harder to pick out people. But also easier to see everybody, right? But then you can't pick out people in the crowd because it's so much that people either stop looking, or they just taking shit for granted. So it's harder to find influencers because the world moving so fast now. So
correct.
If there's a situation like this where me and you could sit down and talk shit, you know, about your process, the past, stuff that you're doing now, that kind of thing, it forces everybody to slow down, those that interested, right? And that might help them say, oh, this person real interested, let me find out more. And who knows where that could lead. So
it's definitely, I look for, you know, more exposure, and that it becomes more cemented and so on.
Hopefully.
But of course, you know, as they say, if you have 1,000 starfish that wash up on the shore and you throw back one, it doesn't matter to that one starfish.
Yes, yeah.
You know? And by all means, all the props again for what you're doing. I agree with everything you've said in terms of community and putting it out there, and I'm so happy that you, as a, you know, I ain't trying to age you, but elder.
I've embraced it.
Yeah.
I've embraced it.
So by all means, all props to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Just remember, in every stroke of art that I make and put together, it stands on the shoulders of giants like yourself.
That I don't know how to comment on that. That's still surreal, them kind of thing to me, because I mean all here that I have invited into the gallery so far, and even the people on the list who I've reached out to and who I will reach out to. The reason why I interested in macoin all your business is because I love the stuff all you're doing, like genuinely impressed with the things all you're doing, right? So for you to tell me that, I don't know how to comment on that, or you know what I mean. So
and
I just say
feeling,
thank you.
I feel like that is just one of the things you have to accept as being a part of the wonderful human experience, because that's all we have to carry on into the future, right?
True. Yeah. Definitely.
And yeah, for sure. Like, trust me, I'd just be just as wild bouncing up mans like Macasey, probably, as I will be just as giddy bouncing up mans like Hayao Miyazaki and stuff like that. Yeah, like I say, I've great respect for all you guys, and as I say, very appreciative of being a part of the community and saying, hey, I talked to that man. I know he boy.
Oh shit! Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, I think that is it for me there. No, I think we could sweep up and lock up the gallery. I very much enjoyed this chat, and as you see in the unrecorded segment where we were testing out before, this is definitely the longest we have ever spoken, but potentially this is the first time we have verbally spoken to each other, as opposed to just commenting on each other's posts or posts on like Instagram or Facebook. Which is wild. Which is wild to think about.
It is wild. Like, I must say, you have a nice voice/personality for this, so that's wonderful. For some reason or the other, my mind had it in me that you were gonna sound like James. yeah, and you totally not. Because, like, for some reason, your name and James' name usually comes up synonymous.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the dynamic duo. Even when we were still in school in Trinity. Granted, I was always 1 year or 2 years ahead of James and my other partners from the art class, right? But as I tell people all the time, we were, or at least James was my biggest creative/artistic rival in school and even afterwards. I always trying to catch up to this man. And the reason, and I tell him this just recently, the reason I started this podcast was to interview him. Because looking back, I've known James for over 30 years at this point, right? And we would have done so many different projects together. We were roommates 3 different times, right? So through Vox and through a bunch of different things. And yeah, at this point, he is not even my friend, he's family, right? And for a certain period, anytime you see James, you're seeing me, or anytime you see me, you're seeing James. So it's always synonymous, the two of us, right? So much so that people used to confuse our work. So I could fully understand. You might think Warren will sound like James, even though I don't know what Warren sound like yet. So that's very funny.
You had to bring out the Sugar Aloe's Baron song. You know how it is go.
I do sound like the Baron, and the Baron don't sound like. So yeah, you wouldn't believe. We used to sing that shit. We used to sing that shit. So that's very funny that they bring that up.
Yeah, I love old time Calypso as well. Fantastic stuff, and I actually draw upon that for a lot of the inspiration when I do my local themed characters.
I see it and I recognize it for sure.
But yes, sir, appreciated, and hello to all the artists out there. Whenever you take a listen, take a watch, fantastic stuff. Please do continue sharing and supporting the man of the hour. and with that, I say thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
Sign off with that one.
All right, until next time.
Cheers.